Hello and welcome to the Real Estate Real Success Spotlight Series. Today I'm excited to feature Kee Park from C21 Leading Edge Realty in Toronto, Ontario. As a standout producer, Kee has earned the prestigious Grand Centurion Award in 2024 and ranks as the #1 producer by production in Ontario, #4 in Canada, and #17 globally within the Century 21 network. With a unique background in analytics and a thriving niche as a pre-construction condo specialist, Kee brings a powerful mix of data-driven strategy and client-focused service. Thank you so much for being with us, Kee. Nice to have you.
Thanks for having me.
Well, let's start at the very beginning. How did you start out in the real estate industry, and walk me through the early days of your career?
Okay. In 2017, which is about 7 or 8 years ago, I was shopping for some condominiums for myself, and I noticed that there were a lot of realtors, and I have interacted with a lot of realtors, and noticed that they were making a lot of money, which was very intriguing, but also it didn't seem like what they were doing was anything special, in my opinion. So I thought, you know what, let me at least get the realtor license for myself so that I can at least save the commission portion for my own purchases, right? So that's how I got my realtor license. And once I got the license, I started to really study the top producers in the entire pre-construction world. There are a few names in the industry that were really famous, and some of these names come from our own brokerage, Century 21 Leading Edge. And I called up the brokerage and said, you know what, I'm interested in joining your brokerage. Can I have a conversation with the owner slash manager? And then ended up talking to Tassis, and Tassis was fantastic. And I've always had this philosophy where if I wanted to become the best in any field, that I would have to mingle with the best in the industry. And Century 21 Leading Edge had a few industry leading realtors in the pre-construction world, and that's why I joined Century 21, and the rest is history.
You really haven't been in the business that long, 8 years, yet you've managed to accomplish so much. If you had to name three things that are attributed to that success, what would those be?
I think there is a general. I mean, everyone knows that you have to work hard, and there's the diligence, and there's a way of navigating in the real estate market. But also, one of the most important things that I've realized is the rise of the YouTube channels. So predominantly, my customers come from my YouTube channel, and I've been running it for about 7 years now. And people have a habit of going onto YouTube to search and research for any type of questions that they might have. And that includes real estate. And running the YouTube channel was definitely one of the fundamental pieces of becoming a top producer. And I think also you really have to learn how to become a good salesperson, right? When I was not a realtor, I met a ton of not very good salespersons in my life. And what I noticed is, so I come from an analytics background, which means that I have never done sales in my life. And becoming a salesperson, I really had to take off my corporate consultant analytics person hat off and put on the salesperson hat on. But this salesperson hat, the education of becoming one, came from reading a few books about becoming the best salesperson. And there are tons of books that I can recommend, but specifically for realtors, I would recommend a book called Ninja Selling. It's a great book. I will vouch for this book. If anyone does everything that the book tells you, then I guarantee you that you will make north of $200,000 a year.
Wow, that is a pretty good endorsement for that book. Um, but you talked about being analytic and using analytics. How do you use those to differentiate yourself and also to grow your business?
Right. So analytics plays an integral part of any business because you can really quantify what's going on with the market. So having had that analytics background allowed me to understand the numbers a lot deeper when I'm looking at the TREB reports for on the monthly figures. We tend to make reports that are a little bit in more depth for our clients, and we look at monthly trends, but also we look at seasonality of the sales. The natural seasonality tends to be that the April to June market is the hottest, and then there's a slight dip during the summer in July and August, and then there's a tick up in September, October before the year ends, and it has that double hump type of seasonality in a year. And understanding that, and really seeing when you see an increase in sales, is that due to the seasonality, or is that due to another factor? So having the analytics background really allows you to have a better understanding of what's going on with the numbers. But also, my initial attempt with the real entering into the real estate market was, my goal was to initially have a website where you could buy any pre-construction condos just like you would purchase an iPhone off of the internet. And I was challenged by my broker of record, Paul Barron. We sat down, we had multiple discussions on whether this is feasible or not, and he recommended that at the very early stages, when I didn't know anything about sales, he said that maybe try doing a few sales and see how you feel about that, and we'll talk about it at a later date. And it turns out that there is a specific reason why you can't buy a pre-construction condo off of the web, because it's one of the biggest decisions that a purchaser would make in their entire life, and they really need a person, a professional, to handhold their purchase process, as opposed to some kind of an iPhone. If it goes wrong, you can return it, and then you can have your money back. Oftentimes, real estate purchase is not as such.
No, you really need that personal relationship. So you've tied that into the analytics side, have you?
I'm trying my best, but the market conditions right now is challenging.
Well,
Uh,
that's what my next question was going to be about. You have chosen pre-construction condos, and the market in Toronto isn't really booming in that area right now. How have you adapted your business because of that?
okay. We really haven't adopted our business just due to the market condition. Our business is still very much pre-construction condominiums, and if anyone is interested in purchasing the best option for their budget, we know the answer for every specific situation. But just because, let's for example, the rent resale market is booming, we wouldn't abandon the pre-construction market and get into resale. That's just not what we do.
Yep. It's not who you are. Now, what tools do you rely on a day-to-day basis? It sounds like you spend a lot of time looking at numbers and looking at the analytics, but are there other tools that you find invaluable?
And this would come cliche given how we're seeing the rise of the AI, but ChatGPT has been great for us. ChatGPT and other AI sources, these are going to be they're going to change. It's already started. They are going to fundamentally change how we do our business, and even our lead gens, and any questions that you might have about the real estate market. Even when you have questions about becoming a real estate agent, my questions to ChatGPT would look something like, "Hey, how do I navigate through a challenging market as a real estate agent? I want to generate more leads. This is my budget. What is the best way to do marketing for pre-construction condos?" And you'd be really surprised by what ChatGPT is able to do in terms of giving you guidance on how to navigate those markets.
Cool. I guess you didn't see that one coming.
Well, it's going to change. I think it's going to eventually change how every real estate agent does their business.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We also like to talk about Century 21, and I know that you've referred to both Tassis and Paul as being mentors for you and inspirations as you got your business off the ground. Tell me what being part of Century 21 has done for you and for your business.
Uh, it's it's a great question. I think personally, I have to thank Paul and Tassis on providing a lot of guidance because they come with very deep experience in the real estate market, and Paul Barron having been the president of the TREB as well. They're very heavily involved, and they are the go-to people when you have any type of hiccups or any advice or guidance in the real estate market. Um, I think the pre-construction market really is an interesting industry in the real estate market because it's free for all. Uh, you get thrown into the ocean, and you got to learn how to swim to survive. And just because how the structure of the payment, just because how the payment from the developers are structured, which is typically you don't get paid anything on your sale, but you get your payments in 2 or 3 different installments. One of which is when the construction starts, and typically when the construction finishes, you get the remainder of the commissions. So uh, that really puts a big barrier on people who really need the income on a monthly basis to pay off their bills. So pre-construction condo is kind of like you make the sale, you forget about it, and the money will come eventually. It's kind of like investing into stock market and then forgetting about it, and 10 years later finding out how much money the stock has grown.
Crazy.
It is a little crazy.
Yeah, it's very different. Now, you've seen great success over the last 8 years. When you first started out, did you imagine that you would rank on the global scale within Century 21? Was that a goal of yours, or is that just a byproduct, a lucky byproduct?
I think to be honest, it's a lucky byproduct. So my goal was to become what we call a platinum agent. Platinum agents are in the pre-construction world the agents who move a lot of volume, and they get invited by the developers to participate in the very first release of the condominium units. And we are also involved in pre-launch where they show us the design and some previews of the floor plan, so we're able to look at them, provide feedback to the developer as well. Just knowing what we know about the market, what we know about our customers, whether this design would sell well, whether this two-bedroom layout would be preferred over another layout. So we have that uh, we have that advantage when it comes to the pre-construction market because we get so much more information about the pre-construction condos before the launch, and also after the launch, we do get special treatments, as in our clients do get some perks in terms of slight discount in the development charges, or for my clients, I personally do all the lawyer reviews for free. So it also uh, there's benefits in working with the platinum agents, and that was my initial goal, to become a platinum agent. And once I became one, I didn't really think about it. And I remember some of my colleagues telling me that who've achieved world number one with Century 21 global system, they have told me, Key, like judging by what you're doing right now, you're going to be the next. And I didn't really believe them. I thought it was just an encouragement. All these salespeople, realtors, sweet talk you into feeling much better about yourself. And when the awards finally came, and I found out about my ranking, I thought, oh my gosh, like they were onto something. The global number one is within reach, and maybe with persistence and a little bit more luck, I might one day become global number one. We'll see.
Our fingers are crossed for you. What do you love most about being a realtor?
I was thinking about this the other day. My favorite thing about being a realtor, certainly there are pros and cons, and I think one of the biggest pros is the amount of people that you meet and have a conversation with. When a customer chooses you as a realtor, that means it's an invitation from them to participate in their decision making process in their real estate purchase. So you get to know them a little bit more intimately, and also you get to interact with them. You get to see them. You get sometimes you interact with really nice people. Sometimes you interact with really rich people, and you get an opportunity to learn a lot about how they run their business and how they live their life. And we talk about a lot of things, other than real estate. There's that connection that gets made, and from that connection, even after the real estate purchase, we keep in touch, and the energy and the lessons that I can obtain from this interaction is invaluable.
Great. Is there anything else you thought I was going to ask about or that you wanted to share before we wrap up?
Um, I think just reviewing the past 8 years, I noticed that jumping into this market, I never thought that I would be here having an interview with you and talking about what little success I have. It just never crossed my mind. But in hindsight, what I would say is that I got into the real estate market just because I was curious and I thought it was going to be fun. And I think that's really important. Once you find something that you are curious about and then you find interest in, I think it's important that you give it a try, jump in, and see how you like it. And if you don't like it, you can always go back. But not making that jump and not giving it a try, I think that might lead to a regret that you might not enjoy in the long future.
All right. Good advice. Thank you very much, Kee. We appreciate it.
Well, thank you for having me. This was such a pleasure.